All right, we're into game 2 here, and I've given myself some instantaneous feedback, and perhaps I was a little harsh. This is, after all, a tournament for beginners, so I'm going to try and give helpful tips this time rather than just dissing people. Saeskey, if I were you, I would build a pylon. Insceldaron, similar, it's always pylon first. So start of the game, you start building workers, and that should just continue until you've got, I would say, at this level, until you've got 2 bases saturated would be fine. So the first structure you build as Protoss is a pylon. It's always a pylon, it's never not a pylon. These are utterly unnecessary. You can't spend gas until you've got a cybernetics core, and you can't build one of those. You can't even start at building until your gateway's finished. So you never need to open with gas first. It just isn't really a thing. Even if you're going for a very gas intensive build, you would go gateway gas. You still wouldn't have to drop double gas before a gateway. It's just not a thing. Once your gateway's finished, the next thing you're building as a Protoss is arguably either a side core or an expand, but both of those things essentially in quick succession. Normally what I would do, I would open as Protoss, it would be pylon, gateway, when the gateway's almost done, gas, once the natural is fully saturated with 16 workers. Then I'm scouting. If my opponent is likely, or I think there's potential for them to come and harass me, come and attack me, I'm building a side core. If I think there's no potential for that, I'm building a nexus, then the side core. But either way, that side core needs to go down. This side core, tap G with that highlighted, and you'll start to research Warp Gate, which is roughly the best upgrade in the game. Turns these gateways into warp gates, and you absolutely want that. What you never want is a queue, because I'll tell you for why. In this queue, look, 3 zealots is 450. Is 400 minerals. Well, you can build another gateway for 150, so it is way quicker to build another gateway and build the zealots 2 at a time. If you've got enough money to queue stuff up, you've got enough money for more buildings, so just build them. Stargate is a good choice. Protoss Air is solid. Now, Saeskey here is building a bit of a variety of units, which is generally a pretty good thing. Because if you don't know what's going to be coming for you, if you don't know what's coming, you need a little bit of this and a little bit of that. In terms of units, zealots make for a very good meat shield. They are tough and they do a reasonable amount of damage, but they are melee units, so they're not ranged and they cannot shoot air. Stalkers are pretty decent ranged units. They are quick on the ground and they've got a pretty reasonable range. At a later point, you can drop Twilight Council and you can upgrade Blink for your Stalkers, which means they can jump and you can do some fancy micro tricks and that to keep them. Did he just literally just walk through the other army? Hi folks, don't mind me. Nothing to see here. Just going to go and have a look at your base. Oh dear, this is a bad rally. So these units I think are just rallied across the map, which is a real shame because they are just going to follow that and walk to their death. They're not even going to fight back. Have we got another kind of armies passing each other? No, these sentries can be great. They can drop force fields, and this many sentries with energy, you could actually force field this ramp and keep this army out pretty much all day. However, if you don't use the spells, these sentries are absolutely worthless. Their attack, the only reason they have an attack is it's not to do damage. The purpose of the sentry attack is so that if you grab your whole army and A-click it forwards, your sentries don't walk to the front and die. It's the same thing with Templars. So that's a common thing in the game with spellcasters. They have a nominal attack just so that they stop to attack when you A-move. It isn't really to do any damage. So sentries don't really add any DPS. No DPS damage per second. Sentries don't really add anything to a fight. They're all about the spell casting. It looks like Saeskey's going to do this. A little unfortunate that Insceldaron did build some stuff. This Oracle is a good unit. It's also a spellcaster though. It has a beam that you have to activate and it will shoot stuff on the ground. Only that beam kills workers at a rate of knots. I think an Oracle might kill workers faster than any other single unit in the game. I think think that's probably true. So in the early game, what you've built this for is to get in your opponent's base and kill his workers, kill their income. That's what an Oracle is good at. In the later game, it casts other spells like Revelation, so you can keep tabs on your opponent and what they're doing. That is an ambitious rebuild, I feel, in Insceldaron. I don't think that Nexus is really going to get up, is it? I think we're just waiting for the GG here. So Oracles are good units. Phoenix good units as well, but they're useless on their own. So Phoenix only shoot air, but they have a spell that they can cast which lifts things on the ground up into the air. When they're doing that, they can't also shoot. So you need a minimum of 2 Phoenix, and actually their shot is pretty slow, so they shoot and then it takes a long time to reload. So ideally 5 Phoenix is what you want to go and harass your opponent's mineral line. 1 to do the lifting, the other 4 will one-shot the workers, and then you lift the next one and you can kill stuff in that way. They're pretty good against anti-air, but if you're going to use them against the ground, they do need quite a lot of microing. So debatable whether that is one to focus on at this early stage of the tournament. I would be inclined to suggest, if you're just learning Protoss, for the time being, focus on getting to grips with gateway units, Zealot Stalker, and the upgrades for those that you can get from the Twilight. You get Charge for your Zealots, you get Blink for your Stalkers, and focus on robo units. Drop a robotics facility, get some immortals, get those types of things out. Get to grips with how that stuff works before you start mucking about with spellcasters. So there isn't going to be a GG here. There's going to be perhaps salty. Just wait for the buildings to die. But there it is. It is victory, and Saeskey goes 2-0. GG.